Hello, hello. Welcome, sweethearts. Welcome. My name is Stormy. Welcome to I Am Woke. In today's video, I'm going to take you guys through a riff on soulmates and on twin flames, managing and understanding attraction. I will say up front, I think this video is going to be more for women. I'm more saying that because I'm taking my perspective. As I massage them out, I'm mostly going to speaking to feminine energy. If you'd like to watch regardless, I'm just gonna, we're just rearranging on screen here. I'd like for you to be here with me, and I hope that the information is like super valuable for you. But I'm gonna be taking you through, I'm just gonna jump into a riff on soulmate energies. These are some energies I'm alchemizing. Lots of ideas, understandings, and downloads from spirit around soulmates and twin flames. I don't know how she's going to do this yet, but a book is coming. I feel like I have to write a book on it, and I think I'm going to have to write a book for men and a book for women. I'm much more focused on women because that is my experience in the time being, but I also am developing the codes and understanding for men as well. So, I wish I had a little more light, but hot damn, let's get right into it, yeah? Also, oh my gosh, I haven't promoted this one in a while, but I do have a free 10 or 11 part video training around soulmates and twin flames. You can catch that link in the description below, and I will send you all the twin flame videos I've got. For those of you that don't know, I have a tremendous amount of experience in soulmate relationships, twin flame relationships, spiritually bonded relationships, both with myself, my own personal experience, as well as experience walking clients through entering and exiting either twin flame or deep soulmate bonds, marriage contracts, leaving marriage contracts, coming together in marriage contracts. Like, I navigate everything relationship oriented, managing both human expectations as well as spiritual expectations. They are very different. I'm going to jump into it in this video because actually maybe we'll just start here. I had a real like slinging out with spirit recently. Because it's actually really, it's really me pressuring my higher self. And I think a lot of you will probably resonate with this if you were to sit with it a little bit and think with your higher self, be in meditation with your higher self. But my higher self, like, signs relationship agreements like candy. Like, I'm like, okay, enough cosmic marriages. Like, we're done. Higher self Emelina, like higher self Stormy, like, no more. I've been cosmically married like 4 or 5 times. Like, I'm done. All right. Like, the next one's got to stay. Like, it's got to be a thing. And I'll explain this and why I'm telling you guys. But there's a real difference between the 3D and the 5D, and the 5D is not always right. And I really want to cover that because I've been through so much having to read in between the lines, between all these different energy dynamics for myself and others, that I'm really growing an extraordinary level of consciousness and expertise in this topic. And I can explain a lot of the sensations and the misunderstandings, and specifically for women, because the experience of being a woman in a soul bond that is a romantic bond is severely different than a man, and it actually puts the woman at a disadvantage. So what I'm going to be speaking to in my rant here is pointing out what those disadvantages are so that you can take your power back. You can come into alignment with who you are spiritually, authentically, and emotionally, so you don't get tied up settling. Okay, let's just call it how it is, settling. Because what a lot of men don't realize spiritually, what's happening is they choose the woman before the woman even knows. Like, all of the contracts I've been through, like, I don't find out until after. And when I re-review the energetic contracts spiritually, the 5D contracts, I get livid because I go, but I didn't give permission. Like, that's nice that they saw me and they liked me and they were attracted to me, but I did not enroll. There was an automatic enrollment because the way the feminine heart space works is once the love is kind of there and it's triggered out of the heart space, if you have an open heart, which most spiritual women do, it's like an automatic blossoming. And then once that is touched, it enters a romantic phase spiritually that the woman would have to be so highly attuned and aware to get out of. And here's the deal. She did not necessarily choose it. So, dear God, like, how is this relevant immediately for the women that I know I'm going to be talking to on screen? Well, I have met many, many, many women, both in my YouTube community and coaching, that are stuck in very tumultuous twin flame relationships and they don't know how to deal with it. Let me explain what that means. These are the men that are soul bonded to you, that are usually highly psychic, and it's usually a little bit more subconscious, or they refuse to acknowledge it at the human level. I have heard so many stories, and I will also say this, for every one of these relationships I've been in, this is like, you can feel them in bed with you energetically, and they're nowhere to be found. These are people that like aren't even necessarily actively dating, and like their presence is pressed on you, or you can feel their breath on your neck, or you can hear their thoughts, you can hear them speaking sweetly to you, and there's a real dialogue energetically that feigns attraction. I'm not going to say that twin flame relationships aren't real. They are very, very real, and I'm talking to the shadow of it because honestly, I'm sick of going through it, and I'm in a position right now. I had so many other things to do today, and I'm literally like in a position where I feel like I have to publish a PSA announcement while it's so hot on my energy for women, because I'm going to end up having to coach women out of this, because it's going to get more and more and more clear for myself and other women as we channel more and get more clear. Actually, I think this is more I think this is more like my mission work. A lot of my mission work is educating around the differences of these contracts, because what happens with a lot of twin flame relationships, I'm not talking about true love contracts, and I will say that rarely do twin flame relationships move into true love contracts. They are very, very, very difficult. If you do feel like you resonate with a generic twin flame idea, I would say just see if this resonates. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. If it does, then I'm speaking to you. And then this is for you. You know, this is for a segment of the people that are going to be watching. There's a lot of feigning attraction spiritually to gain spiritual power from specific women. Women carry a lot of spiritual power. Depending on what your soul is up to, what your higher self does multidimensionally, you may have much more spiritual power than is average. The women that I come across that get stuck into these dynamics, it's that their spiritual energy is being siphoned off of their kundalini and redirected and stolen by the man, essentially. And the women are okay with it to one way or another, because they feel such a genuine deep attraction to that man. Now, I want to break down what that attraction is, because there's trauma bonding at the human level. There's also spiritual trauma bonding, and that shit's real too. Before I break down attraction, for women, what the danger is that if your energy is siphoned off with a twin flame somewhere, and a lot of these men, peace out. The second they really get a torque on your energy, and they know they have your kundalini energy, it's such a difficult thing to maneuver and get out of, spiritually and energetically for a human, that they then have free reign to do whatever they want. Most of them leave. Most of them, like, it becomes very karmic. And I'm saying most because those are the experiences I've been coaching women through. There is another version of this experience where, like, for example, my past long-term relationship, like, we were together and he was a twin, but my energy was being siphoned off spiritually still and held back and away from me. And I had to give to him in order to receive my own energy back, when really I could have just had my energy and got rid of whatever that was. The reason why these are difficult is because of how attraction works spiritually, how soulmate attraction works spiritually, because soulmates have such an intense bond spiritually that they feel permanent. So letting go of them is difficult, and it's almost like the souls know that, so they kind of latch on, and it's like, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be great, we'll go on the roller coaster ride. Nobody knows how to freaking fix humans, so good luck, okay, fist bump, hopefully we don't get too hurt, okay, peace. Anyway, the effect that it has on women is it siphons off from the kundalini energy, it steals from the creative energy. So if these people are still thinking about you, still hanging on to you, latched onto your energy, showing up in your energy field frequently. Like when some of these men think about me, it's like all the fucking time. And I'm just like, get out of my energy. Stop it. Like, no, I don't want to hear from you. No, I don't want to talk to you. If I wanted to talk to you, I think you missed those ops. like they were here a while ago. They're no longer here. Like, get out. And it's like this constant cycling of these energy patterns and energy waves, energy signatures, telepathy, because it's so easy for people to reach out telepathically. I actually find it to be pretty disrespectful at this point. Because I'm like, keep your energy to yourself. Like, why are you trying to get my attention? Why? Because they got a lot to gain. Women carry a storehouse of creative power. So for example, I just released a major attachment, and I was not supposed to be on my menstruation cycle, and I'm bleeding this morning after releasing a soulmate attachment. That's how strong those things are. It's an energetic miscarriage, and my body is now processing a miscarriage, and I'm livid about it because I'm like, that was like a short, like, stop and go, like, get out, like, stop. I'm more bringing awareness and attention to some of this because this all goes so unconscious and it's no discredit to people, to women, to soul, whatever, because people just aren't conscious about it. The trouble is that I'm conscious about it. Sometimes I wish I wasn't. But I see the contracts, I hear the conversations, my body has actual reactions. And it's insane. Anyway, so I go through this so that I can give you the PSA, so maybe you don't have to go through it, or maybe you'll just catch on earlier as a woman. So I want to talk about so many things. We'll start with soulmates. Okay, what are soulmates? What are twin flames? It's all relative, okay? A twin flame is just a mirroring contract with a soulmate. What is a soulmate? A soulmate is an agreed upon bond spiritually. We could call them soul family. They are not all soul family. Some soulmate contracts they're just spiritual bonds in likeness. Like maybe you've had a relationship in a previous life, or maybe you're friends, or maybe you grew up together, like all in the stars, wherever your starseeds came from, whatever it is. And like you agreed to do this romantic partnership dance because it's how we are triggered into growth. Both as humans and spiritually. They are more growth contracts. And if you guys watch a few videos back, I talk about marriage contracts. Spiritual marriage contracts are similar. There are karmic contracts, and it doesn't mean they're any like less of a soulmate. Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, you guys. I know I put that on the last video. I can't see. Thanks, Andrea. Okay, but now I'm distracted. Soulmates. There are karmic relationships, and these are soulmate karmics, okay? Not all soulmates are created equal, and not all are free from karma. There are destiny contracts, which I'll see how much I can get into, because I feel like this would be like a 6-hour stream, so I'm gonna have to split this up into things. Destiny contracts are where the higher powers it's like an arranged marriage, okay? So they pre-select like who your partner's supposed to be. I don't know how often that works out. They haven't worked for me. So I used to have a lot of trust in a destiny contract. And yesterday, my oversoul came to me and my higher self and said, Emelina, tell us what's going on. So like, Stormy, tell us what's going on. And I was like, I'm sick of you choosing partners for me. I don't think you're capable of choosing. I said, you're choosing the wrong ones for me. They're hurting me. They're dragging me through the mud. They're disrespecting me over and over again. They're creating abandonment wounds. And I said, and I'm healing through all of it. I'm constantly healing, but I said, I've had enough. So I said, it's great that spiritually it looks good up there, but unless you're a matchmaker down here and you've decided to be human and understand what it is to be human and understand my human needs, like I'm no longer interested in prearranged destiny contracts. I will vet the partners at the human level. If they can handle the human, then I will agree to the higher contracts. But if they cannot handle the human, and there typically is a misarrangement between the human and the destiny contracts, or the human and the 5D contracts. And I'm saying this is a full transmission as well. I'm saying this to give you guys permission to let go of the stress of having to make something fit. Just because you're in front of a soulmate doesn't mean they are your soulmate, and it doesn't mean that you have to accept it. And it doesn't mean that you'll be out. Another one will come. God will move it through, because Source is just looking to see how aware you are and what you want. How aware are you of what you want? What are your preferences? What are your standards? And what I've found through my entire romantic experience with soulmates is that my standards of the moment are met with that soulmate. And if my standards aren't high enough, then that soulmate brings that out of me. And then I go through the whole healing process until I realize, oh, I actually have a lot more self-respect, and I just found it because they just disrespected me. I see respect as love. They are one and the same. I had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, I can feel so much love coming from you. Oh, I forgot to shut off my notifications. I was like, I could feel so much love coming from you. He was like, oh, really? And I was like, it's probably not typical for you to think about this as love, but you just gave me so much respect, and I translate respect as like gold in my heart space. So when someone disrespects me, which men typically do on purpose to demean women's value, to bring them down to their level so that they can have an easier access, whether that is sexually or whether that is spiritually. They do that through actively disrespecting women. Now, what is the typical collective female response? Whether it's soulmates or karmics, doesn't really matter. The typical response is games. Like, you end up having to play hardball because they're actively demeaning your value. Now, I trust you guys are with me on this. Like, y'all, depending on the day you catch me, I can be real romantic. But I've been dragged through the mud romantically, spiritually, again and again and again and again. And I'm like, oh, if you don't pay attention to the patterns, there is no romance. The romance is a fantasy. It's not a reality. It doesn't exist. It's fake. And then we buy into the fantasy, and then the human gets into really toxic or abusive karmic patterns because the fantasy and the reality don't match. But actually, we could just say, gosh, I know I'm glossing over this. I really want to go into depth. I probably will need to spin out a program at some point to go through this in depth with you guys. But it's I'm almost like, I'm like spirit, like whatever. Oh, what's the next one? Oh, he thinks I'm cute. He thinks I'm hot. That's nice. Like, get lost. I'm like, I don't really care if they're a soulmate or not. I'm like, you can attend to the human. If you can't match the human's needs, if you can't have respect for the human, now, these patterns are going to look differently based on your karmic behaviors in relationship, based on how you were raised, based on how your inner child perceives and receives and gives love. It's all very different. What I have found, I think there's some cultural programming or issues around men over feminizing themselves. This also might be a Los Angeles thing and not as much in the rest of the country. I'm not entirely sure, but I will tell you that the men in Los Angeles and the soulmates in Los Angeles that I have found, they expect you to chase them. They occupy their feminine energy, and they make the women occupy a masculine energy, which is the opposite range to the pole. And then when you get in relationship with these people, they have to reestablish their masculinity. So they do it in a toxic way, with dominance, with control, with covert manipulation, emotionally, because they're not comfortable with their actual femininity. They were just like, come chase me. Yeah, how else do they do that? They put you in lots of competition. I cannot even tell you how many, and these are soulmates, you guys. These are and by soulmates, I mean soul bonds. I read the energy. I know when I'm dealing with someone that I could marry, that is a soul bond in front of me frequently. And by could marry, I mean just that there's spiritual congruence, that the energetics are there. And they just they introduce karmic third parties almost immediately. You all of a sudden know you're in competition, and they do it because men are trained to do it. They're trained to see that their value culturally, obviously this is not for everyone, but men are trained to see that their value culturally is based on how much competition there is for them as the prize. So they place women that they like and adore into competitive scenarios to make women fight for them, which is the opposite of what it is to be a divine feminine. It is opposite to what it is to be a spiritually healthy feminine. So what they do is they trigger you into an automatic abuse pattern, and then once there's a meeting of an actual relationship, there's a switch over, because nobody can actually maintain those sorts of relationships. So the dynamics have to switch. The woman has to go back into their feminine, and the man has to go back into their masculine, generally speaking. I'm creating sweeping generalities here. So once that happens, it's like you're in a totally different relationship, whether these are marriages or just dating. Because that's not the person that was dated. It's almost like you got tricked into the relationship. That all happens spiritually. This is like, and again, these can be, when I read these contracts across myself and others, spiritually, these are spiritually genuine arrangements. Like at the 5D, these are beautiful relationships. But at the human level, that doesn't always translate to this, to the squeezable parts. It doesn't always translate with health. And also, I want to mention, this isn't to say that, like, I'm not touching on the true love contracts in this stream, and I'm not denying them by any means. Like, I will go into that. I'm just covering the things that are agitating me, and I'm being transparent, because I know that when it agitates me and I speak clearly about it, it starts to give out that education. It works out for me and for you guys, and then it's like things start clicking into place. It's really magical. Oh, okay, this is where I was going with soulmates. Okay, so soulmates are soul ties. They are spiritual bonds. They can be both karmic or destiny-based. They're usually karmic. Sometimes the karma is a positive karma, which I guess would be destiny-based, where it's like you've just like agreed to come together because you each need help in these different areas, and it's like very collaborative, whether it's like soulmate friendships or bonds or a romantic partner. All soulmate romantic partners, from what I have gathered, do have a very clear purpose. What we think that purpose is that comes out through any level of romantic involvement is very different than what spirit might have in mind. So it might be learning self-respect. That might be the contract. And you're with a soulmate because the soulmate can reach into this, you're both like working the energy, oscillating back and forth. It's a really fast, like really deep, vibrant energy at the soul level that reprograms you and triggers up what needs to come up to release. So if you're on a program of self-respect, yes, that could be a soulmate that is teaching you how to respect yourself. What I have found, it's a lot of soulmates that teach you that they're assholes. They disrespect the shit out of you over and over and over again and have no time or space for you. And then you develop self-respect as a self-preservation process. For those of you that think that's a wounded pattern for me, I feel like I can feel that coming out of the collective. I'm like, I would challenge you to look at your relationships. 1, 2, people learn differently in different relationships. My lessons are always coming back to myself, so I'm always going to speak from that perspective of bringing the harmony and the energy back to the self before you go back out into relationship or other contracts or agreements. Some people, some women, some men learn in relationship more. It would be about more the learning through. That's not my contract. I have a North Node in Aries. I do think it does depend on your North Node plus where your Libra placements are. But my North Node in Aries is always about moving back into independence. It's partnership through independence. So that's generally going to be my perspective, is teaching you how to feel what is yours versus what is someone else's, and then decide based on active conscious choice, not unconscious, automatic, spiritual autopilot. So that's something else I wanted to mention with the soulmates, is that what's a soulmate? What's a soul tie? It's a connection to deep unconscious power, to a fabric or network of energy that is familiar and related to your own energy. So when you connect with a soulmate, you're connecting with the deep unconscious power of all of that network. So you're accessing power. How that power, which is beautiful and wonderful, and we need it, and I adore these. Now, how that power translates down to the human, there's a lot of it moving through shadow. A lot of it is unconscious because most people are not navigating both the spiritual and the human experience. So it's mostly unconscious, which means there's just a lot of There's a lot of shit behind the scenes. It's why love can be so complicated. I want to break down something for you guys. I kind of hate to do this, but I also love to do it. I needed to hear this 10 years ago, okay? Being in love. I'm like the most romantic person there is. What is being in love? It's power. Being in love is power. That's all it is. How does that power translate into your heart, translate into your body, and translate as the in-between power dynamics between you and the other human? All love relationships, all romantic partnerships are power dynamics. Not necessarily in a bad way, though frequently, but not necessarily. It's how is the power building between the couple, because the Kundalini energy is constantly merging and raising between the couple, whether or not you are physical. This is happening energetically if your soul has like agreed to consciously marry another soul, which happens a lot. And I wonder how many people are running around down here, are so confused but they're married up there, but then they're dating different people down here, but they're married to someone else up there. Like literally, it's like a shit show, you guys. And I can read through it, so it's like, it kind of drives me nuts. I'm not gonna lie. Some days I'm just like, Spirit, like why'd you choose me? Like what? Couldn't I have like whatever? I don't know. She's being prepped for something. Okay, so let me talk about being in love, and I don't want to demean the beautiful parts of it. Okay, I'm just covering the shadow because it just needs to be brought to the light. It just needs to be made conscious, and then through that you'll be able to alchemize it really easily, and then you can go back into your more fantasy-driven things, which is what I'm gonna do when I'm done with this. Like, I'll finish the stream, and I'm like, okay, that's great. Now what am I dreaming of? I'm like overnight flights to Paris. Okay, in a private jet. Thank you very much. That's so annoying. So being in love is power. When you understand that love is power, you'll stop throwing it away so willy-nilly. Love is power. Men will do just about anything to feel that genuine, authentic, spiritual power that comes through in love. Now, because of our society, no discredit to men, again, I'm not trying to single you guys out. Just understand, I adore all of you anyway. I'm just calling it out. Men almost notoriously take feminine energy for granted because they're not taught how to respect it or how to appreciate it. So when they receive love, they demand more of it, which is to siphon off that love from the woman. I don't know this as far as same gender dynamics. I know it still happens, but I'm just going to speak to the heterosexual terms because it's easier. Now, depending on, and this is so important because actually the women that I find that are in these twin flame relationships that are having such difficulty are the ones that have the least access to love from other people in their surroundings. They have a more shallow emotional well in general, and then they outpour within themselves. They find that emotional well. They build their love within themselves and with God because of their trust in themselves and their own spiritual practice, whatever that is. They learn to trust in something and anything to restore the loving bonds that they likely don't have surrounding them. Men love that. Who knew? They love spiritual power. They eat it up like honey, like nectar, which is beautiful and great, and we want it. And I love that feeling when men are in my heart space and I feel that. I love it and I want to give it. But if they don't understand it, respect it, know what it is, they just steal it. And they do that through backhanded emotional manipulation tactics that we could say are, oh, they're just boys being boys. They're just whatever. Like, it's no big deal. Just shrug it off, sweetheart. Like date the next man. Just be a player. Like, listen, I have so many conversations with one of my guy friends about this, where when I was dating a couple of years ago, he just looked at me and he was like, women dating like men is a nightmare. He was like, you need to stop dating like a man. And I was like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, you just you have to keep like a lot of men in your I don't know, world cycle, because they all are commitment phobic and none of them will attach, and they make you feel like shit. If you have an emotional space in your heart where you do attach to them, because women do, the chemicals that are created through sex in the heart and through love make women immediately attach. And then what happens is men, because of our society and culture, have no emotional sensitivity to that. And then they punish the women, remove their attention and affection for those women, call those women needy, and then date other women and dangle them in front of them. And it creates a real trauma pattern. So the way that I was dealing with that is I was dating many, many men at one time as a way of keeping my heart space shallow so that I wouldn't attach. And one of my friends literally was like, he was like, this has got to be painful for you. He was like, what needs to happen is women need to not date like men, and men need to start dating like women. Men need to have more emotional sensitivity. They need to be more, just more sensitive to the feminine experience, which is sex is not just sex ever. You can have sex for fun, but the reality is that you were created to make babies. So your body is in baby mode no matter what is happening, and that needs to be respected and cared for, because the body is going to have a certain attachment experience. That's why I'm experiencing a fucking emotional miscarriage today, like an energetic miscarriage, like literally. And I didn't even know that was happening, but I had a vision of a baby coming into my womb the other day, and I was like, that's really interesting. I was like, what am I supposed to do with that? And now I understand that baby was an energetic project, right? The body translates it as either creative energy or project. It's all, or baby. It's all the same. And then I cut all of that off, and then my body has a physical reaction to the energy. I don't know how much more clear I can get with you guys. Energy moves into physicality. Whatever's happening energetically, we are processing in a very, very real way, even though it is not physically in front of you. And that's wild to me. We're going on the rant. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I cannot hold back anymore, okay? Also, I'm so grateful that these downloads came so clearly to me today, because it's helping me work through relationship for myself. Okay, so being in love. What is power? I want to break that down. Power is attention. Power is love. Power is energy. Power is time. Power is investment. Power is attraction. Power is sex. And power is your spiritual connection, your own personal Kundalini energy. So when we think of love, like, I love this man. I'm going to be doing a lot more coaching for women in the future on this too. And actually on that, if you are interested in that and want to do a deep dive on cleansing your past, alchemizing who you are now, and attracting the right partner via really organizing your own energy, I would invite you into the Summer Quantum Breakthrough Program, because that's all identity shifting. I will bring you right where you need to go spiritually, and we will shift you into the next version of yourself, which is going to be like the most badass, most self-respecting, beautiful, in all ways, attractive version of yourself. Anyway, that's one-to-one coaching with me. Just email me and I'll send you the information on that. So when we talk about being in love, how are you giving and receiving attention, attraction, sex, investment, money, energy, time? Where is it all going? Is it reciprocal? I have to be very, very honest with you. I have been a feminist in the past, and I still would consider myself a feminist in general. But when it comes to relationship, I have learned the hard way, and I can read all the spirituality, all the spiritual contracts in the Akashic records behind every relationship I've ever been in. And traditional dating, traditional courting, tradition is very, very important for women. There's a reason why those traditions were created. A lot of it has to do with spiritual energy exchange, so that people aren't exchanging karma before they are meant to. The second you have sex with someone, you are unconsciously agreeing to whatever terms their shadow had on the table, because you haven't given yourself consciously the time to get to know the person. And that time is what creates the consciousness for you to choose consciously what you want and what you don't want. And then when you have sex from that place, it's beautiful, because you're engaging in a contract You're never going to dodge karma. So you're engaging in a contract that you agree to, even if that's a one night thing or if it's long term. The point is that you're engaging very consciously. And I want to say this in relationship to the feminism, because like if I spoke of this 2 years ago, like I am the person that's like, go out and sleep with who you want, just be safe. Like I am that person. Like I like being that way. I'm not forwardly like that now, but I mean I like being supportive in that way because I think it's really important for women to claim their sexual power. What I'm speaking to are the spiritual energetics behind it. When you do it, you got to be careful. You got to be energetically sound. You got to do big cleansing work. There is always a cost. I will get into that cost in another video. When I realized the cost, I went, oh, I would erase that in my background if I could, but hindsight's 2020. So, the cost is the right relationship. It creates a time lag. Don't take any fear with this, by the way, either, because I know, like, I have an audience, I can be authoritative. Like, really, please trust yourself. If you feel like you need to be more explorative and sleep with more people, do what feels best for you. If you feel like, based on what I'm saying, you're like, oh, maybe actually I'll be a little more selective, then do that. All I'm here to do is really speak my mind, speak my heart, speak my values, what's been coming to me in full downloads, which then reflect to you what's important to you so you can make your own decisions. So I want to make sure that you feel sovereign and secure in yourself, because I know that this can be a funky situation subconsciously for a lot of people, and I want to make sure that I'm giving your power back to you in case it was displaced. Okay. When it comes down to traditional courting, I'm not going to go into all of it because I'm still kind of digesting it, but just the word tradition, traditional dating, chivalry is so fucking important that men just threw out the window somehow. They were like, oh, women are feminists, they can pay their own bills. Oh, let's track that. If I can pay my own bills and I can pleasure myself, I got my own home, I can look gorgeous by myself, nobody's paying for my hair but me. I can take myself out on dates. I buy myself flowers. Like, I'm sorry, what are you offering exactly? Like, I'm just like, this is where divine feminines and the collective are reaching. We're just like, okay. I mean, you told us to go take care of it all, so we took care of it all. But like, what are you bringing to the table besides your genitals? I'm just wondering. These are sweeping collective behaviors. They're like, I don't know the specifics. I'll dive into it at some point. One of my best friends will be doing some podcast episodes with me on this, talking about relationships and breaking it down, because she's much better with the tradition. But it's like, women were taught to hoist up their bootstraps, take care of it all on their own, which is like good to a point, right? But then men were taught still the values like from the 40s and 50s, which is like a woman's just gonna housewife for you and take care of your babies and do it all for you. So they're all looking for moms. And then they're out in market dating with masculine behavior that attracts women that want to mother them. But those women that would mother them even still can't fucking take care of themselves because now they just adopted another child. It's just like, I'm talking to the lower level karmic agreements because they're so much more present than divine feminine and divine masculine relationships. I celebrate when I see a DMDF match because I don't see it all the time, honestly. And even those like can still get jostled depending on what karmically needs to work through. One of my contracts moved from a destiny contract into a soulmate karmic contract because that person was real dedicated to whatever bullshit karmic behaviors like he couldn't work through. He just couldn't work them through. So it moved it into a karmic contract, which then just needs to be dissolved. And I need to, I was like, I need to get out of this as quickly as possible. Where do I want to go with that? I'm like, we could talk about destiny contracts, but I think I'm going to circle back. So when it comes to tradition, there's a few things going on. Just because something works spiritually doesn't mean the humans are mature enough to handle it. Typically, women are much more mature than men, typically. If men were to, as a collective, really embody slowing the dating process down, being chivalrous, taking care of women, regardless of whether or not those women are working for themselves or end up being like a housewife, give the respect where it's due. Like, you came out of the womb of a woman who carried you, who birthed you, who went in through all the contractions with you, who raised you, who gave you everything out of her fucking soul. Have the respect for women, both from the place of that which is the mother and that which would be the mother of your children, or could be, or potential, or just respect for the feminine form in general, because we're all fucking going through it. Like, for the men that do end up watching this, like, thank God I didn't have a physical relationship. I'm just like, I didn't even sleep with this person. And I have a physical experience of like, what is an energetic miscarriage? Can you please have some more fucking respect for women? Like, we're carrying so much more than men are. It's ridiculous. It makes me want to cry, because whenever I speak to women too, it's just like, we're all just like, yeah, like, we're just trying to figure it out. Like, oh, like, do you know that 90% of women are raped? Like, it's just like, enough with the garbage. Like, I'm sick of this, like, light-footed, like, fancy-free, spiritual, like, oh my God, your twin flame relationship is gonna be amazing. It's gonna be true love. Like, hi, we're all working through human contracts, and human contracts are pretty war-based, honestly. Fighting for resources, the biggest resource is the womb space. It has the ability to create babies, humans, anything. The ability to hold space for someone's potential. This is all womb space healing. And society just doesn't respect it, because they know if they don't, that women won't be able to grow in their power, and then we won't have a society of children that actually know their own value and self-worth. And if that doesn't happen, then everybody can be controlled by these higher level entities, whatever the fuck they're doing out there. So, I don't know. You guys leave some comments for Reblow after the stream too. Let me know what you like, what resonates. It is actually vulnerable for me to come on stream like this and be a little hot-headed. I actually don't feel like I'm being hot-headed, but it's vulnerable for me to show this forward expression. So if you do have something you can reinforce, if you enjoy this or you want more of this, like, let me know, because that helps me to say this aspect of myself is not only acceptable, but it's safe for me to speak this way, which I already feel that within myself, but I'm asking for my needs as well. Maturity. Even with soulmate contracts, even with twin flames, the maturity, if there's a big maturity difference, I would leave the contract. I wouldn't even fucking entertain it. The more suitors, we'll call them, that are brought to me energetically, that I meet as well, physically, the level of the difference of maturity is just like, it's insane. It's so unattractive. And they might look, I'll say this for some of you that run into this, the men might look like they're mature. They might be older, or they might have great careers, or they might be really intelligent. Or they might be young, but be really, really great at everything that they do. And then when you get into their heart space, they're these wounded little boys that like to punch girls when they like them. That say, Mom, please take care of me. I'm going to shit all over the carpet, and I'm going to expect you to just clean it up and continue to love me. And I have no, like, desire to actually want to handle my shadow. I'd rather just control you. And if you're not controllable, then I'm going to let you know by bringing other women in, and I'm going to show you that you're disposable. That's the fastest way to get a divine feminine to drop you on your ass and cut all the cords and energetic agreements, which, by the way, we reclaim that power. You then lose access. You lose power. There's an energetic exchange process, a financial exchange energetically. So, like, stop wasting our time. I feel like right now I'm conversing with you guys. I'm like having a one-way conversation right now. But I feel like I'm actually in dialogue with the collective masculine, being like, get it together. Not even the collective masculine. It's the collective, like, divine. It's the right in the between, as they're trying to get into the divine masculine. And then those masculines that then step into the divine masculine roles can also slip back. And I feel like I'm talking to them too. I'm I'm like, no, you get your shit together, because women carry so much more responsibility and we're really sick of it. Again, like, what? I'm bleeding. I shouldn't be. Like energy matters. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a physical effect and then there's an emotional grieving process because my body thinks it just released a baby. Like, can you please respect us? Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's ridiculous. And you know what? Women like me end up being called like needy or over dramatic or like whatever the fuck it is. And then they gaslight the shit out of it again. And it's just a mess. I'm sorry for swearing so much on the stream. I'm like, enough. Pull my chair out when I sit down at the table. Like, okay? Buy my dinner. Don't make me pull out my check, my debit card. I'm not even going to, because yes, you should buy me dinner. Because my womb space is holding everything that you're not fucking dealing with. And also stop treating me like a sex object. I'm not here to please you. This is me speaking on behalf of all fucking divine feminines. Like, treat us with respect. Treat us with love. Our emotions, our ability to attach, our ability to have families, our ability to hold space is God. So why are all of you playing us? Why are you diminishing our value? Even those that are loyal, there is still this collective agreement that men have their value in being cheaters, that men have their value in being players. They call it players. How cute. In Los Angeles, it's like, he's just a player. I'm like, he's a man whore, and he's a cheater, and he has commitment issues because he can't fucking commit to his own goddamn masculinity. You can't even commit to yourself. Is that something we should prop up? Oh, he's got great value. He's got a bunch of like younger girls that don't have the experience yet, that I've got 15 years on, that just don't know just how bad this is gonna be. Like, and we're celebrating that culturally? Like, what? Tell them how it is. I tell these men. I'm like, you're a whore, get out. Like, I'm not giving that to you. What? And I don't say a lot of that physically. I say it energetically. I say it telepathically. Physically, here's what I do. I'm gonna give you guys my cheat codes. Because men will not understand until the women around them train them. When you're dating a man, you're dating how his mother taught him to treat women and how his ex taught him to treat women. So I gotta look through these, you guys. Stop. What she said. I said what I said. I will not take it back either. Oh God, it feels good just to be real. You guys know I've been through it. That's why I'm real. I'm just like, if there was one more energetic 5D heroes, gamos, twin flame bullshit fucking marriage that then down here I deal with it, I'm like, they were not prepared and they're stupid and they can't respect me. Get them out. Like, stop wasting my time. That's what I said to Spirit this week. I was like, stop wasting my time. My energy is valuable. My emotional space is so healing. These men pop into my fucking heart space and I heal them. And then they leave and I never get paid. And then I have to drum up all of that energy again through source consciousness. And I'm like, this is exhausting. And this is what women do. It's not just me. I mean, I do it powerfully, but this is what women do. And it's expected of us and we never get paid. It's one thing if you have children, okay, feed them. You're supposed to do that. Take care of them. But partners? People you sleep with? Dating? Absolutely not. You're gonna take care of me because I deserve it. All of you deserve it. Like these energetic, the cultural dynamics around tradition and dating and relationship have got so messy, especially in LA and New York. I think the big cities are the messiest because it's the easiest to play. It's the easiest to have multiple partners at one time. And it's like, what do you can't choose? You're at a buffet and you're eating fucking everything. You're gonna feel like shit later because you had sushi and you had pasta with marinara sauce and then you had some curry and then you like, chill out. Like, have you had enough options? Can you choose? Are you capable of being a man that can choose a woman? Like, that will dedicate himself to, through devotion, through relationship, because that's what's required. Like, you're just gonna buffet all fucking day. You're just gonna feel sick. And then you're gonna put that sickness on the most spiritual of the partners that you have. And she's gonna take on the sickness for you and for all the other fucking partners. And it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. This is my PSA. Don't sleep with men until they prove themselves. Oh my God. If you want to sleep with men before they prove themselves because you need experience, I'll do that in another video, and I will tell you how to cleanse your energy. I've like given my tips to many girlfriends, so that they can be explorative, and I do believe in that as well. Like I said, I'm just at the position in my life where I'm like, oh no, I've done enough exploring. I've eaten a lot of buffet, and I know exactly what I want, and it's not any of this shit that I'm talking about. And the shit that I'm talking about is so culturally acceptable, normal, accepted. If you fight against it, you're the problem. You're the needy one. I'm like, needy? I don't need you. You're gonna see that very, very quickly. I have met all of my needs for a very, very long time. So what exactly are you bringing to the table? I really think women need to ask that much, much, much more. That is, if you watch the video from yesterday, which is for the 1010 portal today, actually. It's for today. This is the portal. Oh my God, this is how the portal energy is coming through. Oh my God. Thank God. I'm like, wait, God wanted me to talk about this. This is the portal energy today. The healthy masculinity, which every woman carries and every man carries, divine masculine and within you, is the version of you that says, what are you investing in me? Are you worthy of my investment? And can you make that investment consciously? Most of us in romantic relationship make those investments unconsciously because you can feel the love. And once the love starts to exchange, it's very, very hard for a woman to pull back. Men can do it all day. But women, once there's that emotional bond, oh God, good luck. I'm good now at this point of being able to feel the emotional bond and be able to separate it to the point where I would prefer to not feel it unless there's actually a commitment. Because it is actually very disruptive. It's disruptive to women's careers. It's disruptive to how you maintain your energy, your health, and your actual physical beauty, which is maintained through your access to your Kundalini energy not being stolen from you, given out from you. It's like a bank account. Your Kundalini energy is your bank account, and men will do just about anything to lapse them up. Protect it. Be on top of it. Understand that when you're in relationship with a man that there is emotional bonding, whatever that relationship is, whether it's short, long, freaking whatever, sex, no sex, there's emotional bonding. So how conscious are you to your own emotional bonding patterns? I'm just going to continue pointing a few more things out because I think that this just alchemizes the energy. I don't have any solutions right now other than just like listen, digest it, journal, take what you love, leave the rest. Adore me, call me crazy. I don't really mind. You know, whatever it is. Maybe do it by yourself. I don't know. If you adore me, you can let me know. How's that? If you respect me, you can let me know. If you don't, just get out. Oh my gosh. So if I were to break down attraction, like, what is attraction? What creates attraction? How do people fall in love? Because it happens all the time. It's very unconscious. It's a very difficult process. It's automatic. It's very confronting. I'll get into that in other videos at some point. But it's like, what is attraction? Attraction is manipulating energy. It's a combination of, it's like emotional love, but as a cocktail, whatever that cocktail is. It could be codependent. It could be true. It could be just based on past wounding. It's chemical romance. It's not always conscious. All right. So what's creating that attraction? The reason why I say attraction is manipulating energy. It's like, if you understand that attraction is the torque, it's the push-pull between you and another person. Where is that torque or power coming from? Is it coming from I don't think I can go into it in detail right now, but it could be coming from past emotional abandonment. It could be coming from inner child wounding patterns. It can be coming from chaos, patterns of chaos that can be random patterns of chaos that create dopamine triggers in the body because of things you lived through. If you were in dangerous situations, you might be very, very attracted to dangerous people because it creates the same chemical signature that gives you a high. And then we translate that high as falling in love because it's in dynamic exchange with another human. This is no bad on anyone that moves through this process. I've done it enough, which is like literally why I can explain it. When I break things down, I'm like, oh wow, I was attracted to, like, yes, there are so many light traits in this person, right? Beautiful. But then, I translate danger into love. Danger feels really hot to me. Not me now, I've worked through that. But like in the past, I'd be like, oh wow, danger feels really, really attractive. So it's like, well, then I've got to talk to my shadow and get her on board, because if danger feels attractive, and it will for anyone that has experienced domestic violence or abuse, if danger feels attractive, then you bet you are subconsciously agreeing to, during sex, you'll be subconsciously agreeing to very dark contracts that are very unconscious. They'll rear their heads later. This is why I'm like, no. I'm not interested in having sex, because I know what I'll get myself into, and I don't want to deal with it later. So when you understand that attraction might not be the other person's compatibility with you, that's my point. Because the way women perceive attraction, it's like, oh my God, I'm in love with them. This must be the thing. And then we will like bend all the rules for ourselves in order to allow them in, whatever poor behaviors are happening or what have you. And it's like, whoa, Nelly, that attraction might have nothing to do with them, or very little, and has more to do with the chemical cocktail internal experience you're having on a personal basis with yourself, based on how you perceive power. Powerful exchange. Power is just power. It's a surge, right? That surge can be like a nuclear reaction can be used to power the electricity on the entire planet, which can be beautiful, I guess. Or it can be used to blow up an entire continent. It's power. So if you don't know how your shadow is translating and working with power and what it's attracted to, you will attract partners that will bring that out of you. The more spiritual those contracts are, i.e. when they're twin flames or soulmates, the more that shit is blown up in your face, because it's not just physical, it's spiritual. So now you're getting triggered not just as the human. Your wounding actually at the higher self level is also getting triggered, is also getting exposed, is also getting amplified and highlighted. So it feels like a very visceral, amplified experience, to the point where you may not be able to like live your life. You may end up in a depression cycle. If there are babies involved, some of that can move into some postpartum stuff. It might be so intense that you might not be able to actually live your life, make your money, feed yourself, do the things you need to do. Sometimes people go crazy. Like, there are so many different experiences that I can't, and I hear spirit saying to me, like, thank you for alerting to the dangers. Because what happens, and especially in spiritual communities and stuff, is people like, oh my God, soulmate, oh my God, twin flame, drop everything, do whatever to be with them. And it's like, not at the expense of your humanity. They can be very, very toxic. They might look even okay down here and be highly toxic because you didn't realize perhaps that you were dating a man who subconsciously was mimicking your danger patterns. So when you got married, this is just a random example. So when you get married, now you're a trad wife and you didn't necessarily want to be. Maybe you love it, but maybe you didn't choose it consciously, and you gave up all your dreams, and now you have 8 kids. That you're feeding and taking care of, and you're like, well, my husband takes care of me, but like, I don't know that I chose this. And that could look, my point of saying this is, and this is no ill on trad wives either, it could look like a normal relationship at the physical human level. What's happened is it's usually the the feminine hasn't caught up yet to the spiritual contracts on what they gave up, what the exchange was. Because if you remember to the beginning of the stream, what I had mentioned, for those of you that were with me in the beginning of the stream, is that most dating dynamics have the games up front to get you in, and then the contracts are changed behind your back. And it's so, and I don't want to be like, bad, everyone doing that, but I do, but I don't. because it's so real, and it happens in almost all relationships to one degree or another. It's pretty rare for two people to come together and be like, I really understand myself completely at all levels, and I'm stable, and I'm not going to hurt you, and I'm not going to hurt me. Like, I haven't heard of it. So I don't know. I think we're all just a bunch of little chaotic knots down here, like trying to figure out human. Working out our soul trauma. Like, remember to be light about this experience. I can go really deep, and I will go really deep, and I will call this shit out moving forward because I just can see things so clearly. And then I also am so light about it. I'm like, yeah, bring the next one. Like, let me sharpen my sword a little bit. The sword being your consciousness. Because then you get better and better and better. This is what I've learned across the board. It's not about one romantic partner or contract for me. It's about like every round of this, I just get better. You kiss a lot of toads before you find your prince, right? Like you just get better and better and better and faster at identifying patterns, faster at seeing who's wasting time, faster at seeing who doesn't know what they want, and they just want, they want to experience you, and they're hoping you'll just host them while they're fucking around because they just don't know who they are, or they don't know what they want, or they're really childish. And they want to have fun. They want their toy while they're like fucking around with their life. And a lot of women deal with that. And then their hearts are tied up in that. And when your heart is tied up, when your emotional energy and your kundalini energy is tied up in these little like boy relationships, which are grown ass men, it takes away from your career. It takes away from your finances, like quite literally. Like you need that energy to provide for yourself. And it keeps you from accessing the partner you need. You need to let them go. You need to have a complete release in order to receive the right partner. And like even literally, I have been in these like soulmate arrangements with people where I can feel their exes on them, and they lose me because of that. I'm like, oh no. Like if you haven't figured that out, if you still have a relationship with your ex, you're still talking to them, or you've got a couple women that you haven't, that are friends, that are definitely not friends. This is a maturity compatibility issue. Like I'm not wasting my time for you to find out what's important to you and to do your relational work. Unfortunately, at the collective level, it's not taught to men, and women are taught to just take responsibility for all of it. And I would encourage you to take responsibility for none of it. Like my downloads that came through the last few days with Source were like, just stop taking responsibility. Only take responsibility for you. Don't take responsibility for anything else. Let God handle it. Because all of these external arrangements that are happening, the shadow work with the soulmates, what I heard Spirit say to me was, that's God's unconscious. That's God's shadow. It's not bad on them. It's just like God has a shadow too, and God is arranging our spiritual agreements, our spiritual destiny contracts, not seeing everything about the other person too. So it's actually not our responsibility to get them into line. Catch and release. Let them go, baby. Go live your best life. Be sexy hot. Like, I don't know. Like, just do what you do. If the men can't meet you, let them go. Source will rearrange things, whether with that man or another man, to protect you and bring you what you need. The reason why I'm saying this is because women have such trouble letting go of men when they feel, and I can feel it and I understand it, when you feel a deep emotional connection and a deep spiritual connection, you just want to be like, maybe I should compromise. My answer for you is absolutely not. You keep those standards high, you keep them strong, and you tell God to either fix them, figure them out, have them level up, and if they can't, if they're not capable, then I demand an immediate replacement. And that's okay. You actually can't lose. You won't lose. You will fall in love again. I promise. Like, the heart is so resilient. the better we can get at getting to the buffet and saying, I actually don't like that thing, whatever that, I don't like pasta and meatballs. So God, stop giving it to me. I'm sorry I keep asking for it subconsciously. It's just because I didn't say no. I just need to say no to it. And then it's like, once you say no, you're like, well, what do I actually like? What do you actually like in a relationship? Think about it. I really like safety. I'm not turned on by danger. I am so turned on by safety. When I feel safe in a man's presence, I'm just like, I just had my babies. I just want to feel safe. What was the other thing? Hold on. I have other ones that are like, make me melt. It's going to be the same with a lot of women. When my emotional heart space is held. Oops. Oh, this is what this is what I want to say to you guys for women. It's okay to say no before you say yes. So women tend to have, because of this attachment with the emotional bonding and the physical bonding, because we create babies, women tend to just say yes to the soul contracts and the twin flame contracts without fighting them back. Because we're like, oh, well, but if this is my guy, and it's like, no, like, it's okay to say no. Say no before you say yes. In fact, I highly recommend it. Say no. Just say no over and over and over again. If I could reteach myself as a child, I would be like, say no to everyone. And the ones that come back that you like, who do you like? Who do you choose consciously? Who makes you feel safe and adored and loved? Who respects you deeply? Who gives you compliments and love and attention and invests in you from a place of genuine attraction because they're genuinely available, not because they want something from you, not because they want you to carry them, not because they want your essence, not because they want your energy, not because they want your money. Also an LA thing, I cannot tell you how many men have quite literally asked me to be their sugar mama, and I'm like, what? I'm like, you are 45. What? Also, I have never had a younger man ask me to be a sugar mama. The younger men pay for dinner, by the way. Kudos to the 28 to 32 year olds. 26? 25 even. Like, they've done the right things. The old man, whatever. We'll go into another stream. Nobody needs to know my dating history. Maybe we need to know, because it's gonna be like, the more comedy I do, I just like pull it out because it's so funny. Oh my God, I'm circling back. I forgot to mention earlier, what I was telling you is when men treat you poorly, they treat women based on how women treat them to treat them. So they treat you based on what their exes have taught them and what their mother taught them. So if in society, if we don't retrain them in the moment when there's a very unacceptable behavior, they're going to continue that behavior with many, many, many women because they think it works. And I think we have a responsibility. Like, I feel like I have a responsibility for all women, and I hope some women take on that responsibility for the men before they come to me, to tell men when their behavior is unacceptable or disrespectful, or to never, like, I often will say, like, also never treat a woman like that again, because nothing about that is attractive. Nothing about that feels good. Nothing about that feels safe, and I want you to know. So that maybe the next time you go to text someone at 4 a.m., maybe you'd rather shoot yourself in the head. Like, I'm just kidding. Maybe you'll think about it. Also, on another note, I do have this entire theory that online dating, meaning the swiping apps, that they subtly and subconsciously train and condition people to treat other people as disposable. Like, it's like, I don't like you. I like you. I don't like you. You're hot. I'll sleep with you. I don't like it's such a disposable behavior. Whereas what dating was culturally earlier than our gen, people actually had to interact at a bar and actually had to gain like social engagement. Like, you actually had to have fucking skill. You actually had to find your charisma. You actually had to present your energy in a genuine way. in order to have an option. So there's this idea culturally and collectively that like options are just like, it's like you have like DoorDash for men and women. I'm so not into it. Anyway, I'm probably gonna end this rant in a second here, but for women, choose men energetic. Oh, sorry, choose. Say no before you say yes. Just automatically say no. That's what I would say. Automatically say no, and then let them prove themselves to you. Let them build trust with you. Trust is built in small daily action steps. It is built through actually following through what you say you're going to do. It is built through micro behaviors and watching those micro behaviors through time. You can't just trust someone out of the gate. I mean, you can, but you're probably going to get hurt. I know from very deep experience. God can protect you, but God will let you learn. So say no before you say yes. Allow people to build trust with you. What I will tell you is that men choose energetically faster than women. They see women first. They choose first, most of the time. And then women get swept up into these arrangements that like I wouldn't have agreed to probably any of them. Honestly, if I was conscious. So when you say no, it gives you the time to catch up in your conscious mind to say, do I actually want this? Before I emotionally bond, before I chemically bond with my body, is actually, do I choose this? Actually, is this person what I need? Do they reflect the qualities I appreciate? Do they bring out the better sides of me, or do they bring out the most tumultuous sides of me? I always pay attention to myself in relationship because I'm such a balanced, such a loving person that if someone gets me in hostile, conflict-oriented states, I'm like, oh, that's not me. You're pulling that out of me through competition. And I don't want to be that person, and I'm not that person naturally. You're creating that version of me, and I don't agree with that being my new baseline emotional state. So we're not going to be dating. Like, we're not going to be doing anything. Like, I don't want to talk to you. This is what it is. So say no, make them prove it. Allow the trust to build, because that allows the women to have the time that's needed to consciously make a choice. What I also want to say are red flags or landmines. I want you to think about them that way. When you see a red flag, there's so much stuff online where it's like the red flags, oh, we moved past the red flags. Or they're like Libras, they're like, oh my God, I saw a meme the other day, it was so funny, and I was like, that's true. They were like, Libras see red flags as a Six Flags amusement park. I was like, oh man, I want you to think about red flags as landmines. They are landmines. They will blow up at some point when you step on it. So when you see a red flag, don't avoid it. Slow it down, slow the pace of everything down, and see how it shakes up. What happens? Don't control anyone around you either. Like, the men that are meant to leave, let them leave. If you don't want them in your womb space, if they were going to run, or if they weren't going to pick up the phone when you called, or if they weren't going to respond to a text within a reasonable time, like, you don't want them in your womb. When you invite them into your womb, into your body, you are holding space for all of their energy and potential. Like, if they can't respond to things on time, if they can't pay for dinner, if they can't take care of you, like, why are you carrying them energetically? And I'm asking with this much fervor because it's like we just deal with things culturally, but then when it gets broken down, it's like, oh, right, what? Yeah, what are you offering me? Like, I was fine by myself. You're the one that came and created the chaos. Obviously, I'm taking one perspective of this as well. I'm not talking about karmic feminines. That's not part of this conversation, because I don't want it to be, because I'm not a karmic feminine and I'm not expressing in that way. So it's not valuable for me to explain right now. But just for the men, there are so many men that do have to deal with karmic feminines, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This isn't for you, but it is what it is. So on attraction too, so like chemical, what did I write? Chemical attraction doesn't necessarily mean it's a safe attraction. So really inspect, like, why are you attracted to what, and is it conscious? Or is your shadow just like, I just really like being abused? Like, or I really like when people ghost me because it shows me that I'm not valuable. And then that feeds that. You're feeding your shadow. So it's like, what aspects of your shadow need to be healed, cleared, loved, adored, sat with to heal that? And if you find that that's coming up in romantic partnership, like that's fine too. Are you attracting it? Yeah, to a degree, but it doesn't need to be dissolved. Like, get this out of here. It's more like, just look at the buffet options. Say, thank you, God. I see that buffet and I don't like it, so I'm not going to eat it today. Like, I will not engage. And you get better. You get better. That's like the benefit of this is you get better and faster at discerning who belongs in your world and who doesn't. And that's for anything, right? That's for friendships. That's for, that's for like business relationships. It's for anything. I'm just relating it specifically in this way to soulmate relationship. Obviously this could be adapted to human dating, but I'm talking specifically about soulmates because I only date men that have a soul connection to me. I can't get out of it. Actually, I don't know that I want to get out of it. It just, like, when you have a soul connection, it just speeds up the processing and it speeds up the shadow and it speeds up the power. So then you have to get very, very good at knowing what you want so that you don't get stuck into long cycles that you don't want to be in. Because what you really want is like the nice marriage, the nice kingdom, like the good money, like doing what you want to do with your life, and you can have it all. But what's involved is you being conscious about all of the ways that you allow poison into your heart and poison into your life, and how and who and what, under what circumstances. How do you get tricked? How do you trick others? Like, Okay, I'm going to read your comments. Oh, wait, the last thing that I will say, oh no, a couple more things. I had a couple more notes. I wrote, most men create attraction with games, conflict, and competition. I think I mentioned that, but that's like very, very standard culturally. And I've encountered it with all of the soulmates that have been near or around me. So, something to keep in mind. Most men, the way they create that power torque or energy for you to feel attracted to them is through competition and games and conflict. Tension. That's not love, by the way. None of that is love. I didn't say care, love, attention, affection, and investment, which is what it should be. And I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just pointing out the shit that's not working, right? So that we can start to level with it. Attraction should be created in investment, attention, love, affection, and respect. If those things are offered and that is where the attraction is coming from for you, you're attracted because those things are present, then you are in a safe situation and you should open up and allow the natural process and unfolding investments of energy, whatever you're going to bring forward into that, and allow it to expand, because that is truly safe. And bringing this forward to your attention, because a lot of us get sucked into cycles with men around games, conflict, and competition. And it's not love, but it feels so powerful. It can feel like a soul bond. It can feel like a soulmate. And when it's with a soulmate, it feels like a twin flame. Take that one to the bank. It feels like a twin flame. If I were to break down the majority of the twin flame experiences, twin flame relationships that I've experienced and coached people through in and around, are soulmate relationships that were built on attraction from games, conflict, and competition. Karma. That's karma. The ones that are built on, what did I say again? Love, affection, respect, investment. Those are safe. Run with those. And those will feel like $1 million. You'll feel like you're in a twin, those also can be twin flame relationships. They're just not, when I say typical twin flame relationships, I'm talking to the typical collective, but this also could be a twin flame relationship. And, but those are true love, what I would call true love relationships. They're safe, they're loving. They don't include all the games and the karma and the nastiness. And truly, you know, everything's energetic before it's physical. Like, truly, we can be, and I've seen this with so many people, we can be matched up with partners and soulmates in the 5D, but it's like, what's the communication with the human? Are they good at being in synchronization with their 5D self, with their highest self? Are they actually in alignment with their full energy and their highest potential? If they're not, they might be a great partner up there and a fucking nightmare for you down here. And I'm pointing that out because a lot of you will feel the energetic attachment, but if they are at the human level, like can't handle it, like have not developed the maturity as a human, like have arrested development, wash your hands, be done. Because it's like, it's not gonna, there's gonna be a lack in compatibility and you're gonna end up carrying this person. That's not saying anything negative about healing. We all need healing, okay, in relationships. You don't have to be perfect to be in a relationship. This is a different energy, just to like point that out. Okay, I'm gonna read your comments. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining me with this. I did not anticipate shooting this today. I gotta prep some other things for you guys. If you like this and want to jump in on the Twin Flame video training, I left the link in the description below. It's an email series. I think there's like 11 or 12 videos that I think you guys will enjoy. And to wrap up, if any of this did resonate and you feel like you would like facilitation in getting through your own personal energy and alignment with falling in love with yourself, understanding the respect of yourself, your personal self-respect, and your personal value, how valuable you are as a human and as a spirit, getting into alignment with your highest potential, allowing that breakthrough. I have the Summer Quantum Breakthrough Identity Program that is a one-to-one coaching with me for 8, 12, or 16 weeks that I can send you details on. If that resonates, you will know, and send me an email and I'll give you all the details. If you've been wanting to work with me, that program is expansive in many different ways, whether it's relationship, whether it's career. We will focus on 1 to 2 areas of your life and really actively work to transform the energy and the awareness and your emotions around them so that you can create physical lasting change. It's really beautiful. I think you guys will really, really love that. So if you're interested, go get my email. It's wearewokeaf@gmail.com. Send me an email and I would love to talk to you more about that and see if it's a good fit for you. And let me jump through comments here. Oh my God, you guys slammed me with comments. Thank you so much. Sounds too familiar. Man up. That was the word. It feels so, sometimes I'm like, that's so disrespectful. I'm like, it's really not though. Like, we're just like, yeah. I'm like man up, not in a toxic way. Shelly, Rainey. I'm sure I needed to hear this right now. Yeah, listen through. Let me know what you think. Hindsight is 2020. Yes. I would not have dated the way I did, knowing what I know now, which is why I'm talking the way that I am. Yes to chivalry. Someone please bring it back. Men got off the hook and then women are just like, I don't feel safe carrying your babies. And they're like, why? And it's like, well, you literally don't open doors for me. Shannon, thank you. I love your forward expression. I'm glad. Soul Year 7, Dylan, what's up, friend? We're here for Stormy. Thank you. Oh my God. I appreciate you guys so much. I really need to express myself very, very openly. It's always very healing for me to just say what I feel like needs to be said, even though it might piss some people off, I guess. I don't really care that much, but it still takes courage, you know? Shelly, agree, the control of women. Oh, are you an astrologer? I don't know if I knew that. I knew this is going to be shifting. Pluto in Aquarius is about power and sexual power. Yeah, totally. Coming out of the Capricorn feminine energy. Yeah, yes. Like leaving Piscean age and yeah, completely. Yeah, I love that. Beautiful. We get a gift from all the restriction and lessons of that transit. So I think that next decade is going to be about huge strides for women and about Dan time. I think you're right, because I feel it at such a core fundamental level that I can't explain. Like, I feel a duty. And I'm never going to use that word again, probably. But like, I feel like I have, like, if I don't forwardly express myself this way, I feel like I'm doing damage to past versions of myself. I won't say damage to others because I'm not going to be that mean to myself, but it feels like just like Stormy, stop holding this back. Like, this needed to be spoken about. Like, literally, if I could go back in time, I would just like not get, I would just like not have sex until I'm married. It's just, there's like too much. You get sucked into these karmic arrangements. It creates so much confusion. Rarely can anyone actually manage it. You might actually end up in a good partnership, but somewhere you're probably settling because it's like, well, did you choose it? And then you'll end up either, I don't know, there's a high divorce rate. you end up divorcing them. and then you learn and you go, oh, shoot. And which is also fine. I mean, right? Like, we're here to learn, experiment, expand, have fun, have a good time. But I'm speaking to all the women that need to hear that because I needed to hear that. And I had a lot of feminist women encourage me into being very sexually expressive. And I appreciate that. I am sexually expressive, but I appreciated it when it was coming up in my background. But it was less about allowing men to create a safe space and more about me putting myself in, like, they were safe, but they weren't energetically safe positions. They were energetically highly compromising for me. And I learned very hard lessons, not physically. Thankfully, I've always been physically safe the last few years anyway. But energetically, it builds so much momentum in so many different directions. It brings in so many different entity types that I didn't know I was inviting into my space, that if I could redo it all, I wouldn't do it. I would have just been like, put me on the God path. I don't have time for this stuff. It's just too much work. Now, why did I do it? Well, because clearly I'm meant to teach. I'm meant to talk about it. And I am one of those people that will like go ahead. I am a pioneering personality. So I'm like, I'll go do it first. It's going to be a little hard. But at least then I'll be able to talk about it and help other people. Now I'm in the season of just like, hard knock life is over. I'm here for white glove treatment. So that's all. You can treat me with respect and love and attention, affection, make investments in me. That is what I'm available for, like, in all of my relationships. Like, that's it. Anything other than that, like, I'm not going to hate it. I'm just going to say it's not for me. Because I've learned. And because I love my new buffet option, I have decided that the self-respect and the respect from others and love in that way is my favorite thing to consume and eat. Okay, hold on. I was looking through and I missed. Da, da, da. Rainy Shannon. Stump, stump, stump. I said what I said. I'm feeling this fire too, Rainy. Yes. Yes, testify. I said some things in this stream. It's messy here in Alabama too. Is it? It's like, I thought it was like just an LA thing, and I think it's very highlighted here, but I don't know the rest of the country. I'm like, is this, it's like over passivity from men, and then they switch the relationship agreements with you and they end up being so controlling and so manipulative. It's just messy in the woods and not on the street. It's funny. It's just messy in the woods. Yeah, that's funny. Jupiter retrograde yesterday. Oh! 10/10 portal today, Pluto direct tomorrow. Damn. All right. That's why this intensity is like coming through, right? Let's get Pluto direct. Yes, I will step into that. I don't remember where it is now, but thank you. I need to go every single day. Oh, what did I don't know what I was saying there. That's so good. This information is so constructive for me right now, coming out of a long relationship and into single dating life. Yes. And you got a beautiful little baby girl too, right? I don't remember how old she is. 9, 10? Cool. Dylan, I've had to just listen, busy at work, but did want to say, have you considered building a course of how to treat women? I have, my friend. I have. Maybe this is part of it, just on YouTube where you go through. I know, I'm thinking about it. It's so much. I don't know. Also, because I don't know all the specifics, but it's like, I'm trying to work it out. I have thought about it a lot, because it's like, what else are you going to do? Like we need to start building the network, right? For men to understand. I think some people are kind of doing it. I think I think we're trying, right? I think the spiritual collective is trying to get it through. I think there's just a lot of messy information. So, which is probably going to happen for a while. But yes, I am considering it. Maybe I'll write a book. I'm thinking about it. I'm going to try to get that into action as quickly as I can. Idealistic activity and actions, real courting. Some men don't know what to look for. Yeah. Last video was really good. Thank you. I'm so glad. I'm glad you enjoyed them. Something to consider, men who overwork their career, has a crazy schedule. Not to defend it, but I feel in my marriage every time I leave for work, gone 28 days. It's like my wife and I both have to recalibrate ourselves to cut the cord in a kind of the unhealthy way. Yeah. Yeah. Well, because you got to create, I'd have to channel on this more, but essentially you have to recreate the bond every time you come back. Check out the book. Oh my gosh. Check out the book, Your Brain on Love. I think that might be helpful as well for that. It has to do with attachment styles and how you maintain the intimacy while you're gone. Congrats on getting your real estate license. Rainy. Yes, I feel so empowered right now too. It's exhilarating. I'm so glad. I'm not gonna lie. That comment like makes everything I've been through fucking worth it. The second I realized, I'm like, oh my God, it wasn't all just for me to suffer. Like, actually, other people get to enjoy their lives more, and I get to enjoy them enjoying their life. Like, I get to enjoy the use of the challenge as a lesson. Like, it becomes social currency for me, and that's so valuable for me. I'm just like, give me all that love. Like, it's beautiful. Anyway, oh my gosh, you guys, thank you so much for joining me for this stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Tap the like button, drop a comment below after it's done. Let me know anything that you enjoyed or that resonated with you. That's what I got. Sign up for the free training. If you want to work with me one-to-one, email me, and I will see you guys soon. Happy 1010 portal. Alrighty, enjoy your day.